I'm Dave Dinkle. Today I'm here with Zell. Zell's one of our mentor students who just completed a super deal, and I wanted to sort of bring him in and say hi. And Zell is, what country are you a citizen of?
I'm Croatian.
Croatian. So he's an alien in the sense that he's not a U.S. citizen, but he's doing deals. And this is an example of a great deal that he did. Now, he had some background in real estate investing in Romania.
Yes.
But it's a different world over there. How many realtors do they have in Romania?
None yet.
So there's no realtors.
Not yet.
And
We're working on that part.
And it's pretty simple. So you deal directly with the seller.
Yes, it's actually a little more complicated than doing deals with realtors.
Yeah, realtors can complicate our deals, needless to say. So let's talk about this deal that you did. You found out about it, talked to the seller, and you got it under contract, but it took a while to do that too.
Yes, the seller wasn't really cooperating. He didn't want to do the short sale. He had different plans, and somehow, I managed to tell him all the benefits of the short sale.
In our state, it's called a judicial state, and that means that the foreclosure has to go through the court system, and it's not uncommon to be in the property for 3 to 5 years and not make a mortgage payment. So why should he leave?
Exactly.
But you did. You finally signed a contract, and you went into the short sale negotiation, and into it after a certain number of months. What happened?
Well, actually, after almost over a year, actually came to a conclusion with the lender. We were just about to close for $395,000, but what happened is then the lender informed us that they sold the bulk loans to different company, which was in this case, and we had to start the short sale process, actually deal with all over again, and that's what we did, and took another almost a year.
So you, at one time, you were willing to pay $395 for it.
Yes.
Because you knew it was worth how much did you think it was worth at the time?
Roughly around $600-650.
Okay. However, almost a year later, when the new bank was in there, it came to a point in time where you said, we got to close this thing. And you did negotiate a new price, which was how much?
$330,000 and $400.
So when people tell you they won't come down in price, depends on how motivated they are. Now, you happened to, when you did finally get the price and you went to closing, you've had a surprise because 2 weeks before you closed, the seller stuck a tenant in there.
Yes. Actually, seller put a tenant there without me knowing it. Actually, I bought a property free and clear without tenant in it, and I found out that the tenant is there a couple of days later, and I went to see the property. So.
And he signed what's called, in our agenda, kind of a sweetheart lease, meaning he rented the place well below market value. So, but as the new owner, you're stuck with a lease.
Yes.
Luckily, it was only 10 months and not renewable. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the 10 months, because you're waiting on him to get out, he's not cooperative on leaving. He likes the sweetheart lease.
Oh yeah, he loved it.
But you're able to get him out.
Yes, at the end he came out, and everything ended up peacefully and quietly.
So now you've got him out. You've already put it on the market just before he left, and you had a ton of buyers, I would say, right?
Right.
But you actually do happen to have a real estate license.
Yes, I do.
You happen to be a licensed realtor. Why did you do that? Just to have it?
That was a big mistake. But
it's okay. But you did sell it, and
I did.
What did you sell it for?
Almost $600,000. It's
just what you thought it was worth in the first place.
Well, actually, I probably could have sold it for a little more, but I said, okay, I
don't want to be greedy.
Yeah, I spend here like 4 or 5 months a year, on top, and I don't want to waste my time, doing showings and going around.
That's the other thing I didn't mention. He's only here in the United States part-time. He goes back and forth for stuff that he does. And I joked with him about, from Romania, Dracula's castle, and he said, I've been in it a lot of times.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful castle.
So he's a tourist, too. So when all the smoke cleared, because you had expenses and some rehab costs and all sorts of things going on, how much did you net approximately?
Well, around 235, 240,000. I didn't drop it to...
Okay. So roughly $250,000. Now, you actually had the money to close, did you not, to buy it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So there you go, guys. Anything else you want to tell somebody that's going to be a real estate investor? It doesn't work, right?
No, it's really bad, guys. Don't try this at home. Actually, what I wanted to say, if I can do it, and I spend here like 4 or 5 months a year, and I have other things to do besides real estate, I think anybody else can. You can do this remote control. You can do it from, being out of the country, living in Mexico, wherever you want to live, and still do the deals in Florida. And the most important thing is everything that I learned. Actually, I just want to mention the reason why I end up in such a great deal is because I took the mentorship class with Dave, and this was the best thing actually that happened to me. And I own them, let's say, half of this deal as.
Well, one thing is when I started talking to Zell about the deal, he said, "You remember it, right? Remember I called you and called you?" Well, Zell, like other students, call me, and I don't remember the deal. I remember answering questions for you a lot, but that was pertaining predominantly to that deal. So,
right.
Yeah.
And actually, what I wanted to tell you that the way I dropped the price down, where I negotiated the price down with the bank, was using the inspection report.
Contractors,
exactly.
Repairs, yeah.
And that was Oscar's report, and he just do brilliant reports. It's a Jaya company, and actually with that $250 report, I managed to put the price down $60,000. Actually, $59,600. More precise.
So what he's talking about is we have a general contractor. Interestingly enough, 10 years ago, I had a crew of people, and one of whom was a guy from Guatemala off the boat. He was homeless. I didn't realize that at the time, except when he said to me, "Do you mind if I stay in the house at night that I'm rehabbing?" Because I was rehabbing about 3 or 4 houses at the time. And I said, "No, not a problem. Go ahead and stay there." Well, he was homeless. He had to stay there. Turns out that about 4 years later, he went on to become a general contractor, and that's who, did you know that? That's who Oscar is.
Yes, I heard the story.
So now Oscar charges $250 or $300, depending on where the property is, and he generates a true contractor's estimate of repairs, which typically is between 80 to 110 pages. And it looks at every detail of the property with pictures and diagnoses what the cost would be. How big was your report? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, 130 pages.
Okay. What was the total estimate of repairs? Remember that?
Probably around $80,000.
Oh, okay. Well, that was one of the lower ones, actually. And we don't expect to get the entire estimate of repairs. I just had one I looked at yesterday. It was $139,000 in repairs on a $200,000 property. So we asked for some help on the HUD statement with it. We do one of two things. We try not to ask for price reductions. We ask for repair credits on the HUD. That way the listing agent still gets paid the full commission if we're dealing through a listing agent. But we've gotten some spectacular results from it simply because it's real. He has a contractor's license, so he's going to lose his license if he doesn't do it in reality. But it really does help to get super repairs.
Absolutely.
Are we all set?
Yeah, actually, Dave, thank you very much for putting me through this. And
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.